In this video, we are going to draw this cute kawaii illustration of this adorable winter girl portrait. During this easy step-by-step tutorial, you'll get familiar with a lot of useful features like Symmetry Tool, Recoloring with Reference, QuickShape Tool, Liquify Tool, clipping masks, and blending modes, and learn the basics of drawing in Procreate. By the end, you'll not only draw an adorable illustration you'll be proud of, but also feel super confident using Procreate. And now, let's spend some time drawing! Let's begin by deciding what kind of canvas we are going to be using. Today we're using a standard square canvas that you can find in Procreate. Both our pixel width and pixel height are set at 2048 pixels, our DPI are at 300, and our color profile is set as sRGB with this low number. When it's all done, let's just hit done, get redirected to our new canvas, and if you want to use all of the colors that you will see throughout this tutorial, please go under the description and download everything that is mentioned today. So the first thing that we will need to do is to go to our layers. We'll go to the background color and we will go under cards right here. Let's select the background color from the list, and when we did it, let's just go to our color palettes and let's select some contrast colors. So for example, magenta pink one. When we did it, let's just go to our brush library. We'll go to the sketching folder and we will select this Narender pencil brush. It will help us to create a little scheme that will help us to build up our illustration. So first, let's just go and just with one line, we will create a shape of the circle. So very boldly, just creating our shape, holding it at the end with our Apple Pencil, and also we'll hold one of our fingers on the screen to make sure that we are creating a straight and very full circle. When we did it, let's just lift up everything that we are holding right now, and let's just go and position our circle on the horizontal axis that will be straight in the center of our canvas. To do that, we will just need to go to our arrow key, we will go under uniform method, and we also will go under snapping right here, and we'll turn on snapping in the settings. When we did it, we will get back to our canvas, we will hold our Apple Pencil and we'll be looking for this orange line. What we will need to have here is to have more space on the top than we have on the bottom. So let's just position it in that way, and when you have the result like that, let's just go and tap on our arrow key to get away from this mode. When we did it, let's just go to our layers and let's create one more layer on top, so we will be creating a few more lines right here that again will help us to create our illustration. So firstly, let's just go and create a straight line that will go through the center of our circle. We will hold our Apple Pencil, we will hold one of our fingers on the screen to make sure that this line is straight. When you have created this line, if you see that you are not at the center, you can just go to this option that popped up on the top. This is our editing mode, and in the editing mode we can just hold our Apple Pencil and we can just move this line and position this line straightly at the center of our shape. So just by eyeing where we are going to be putting it, when you are satisfied with the position of this line, let's just tap on the screen to accept the changes, and let's just go and try down center. Now, when we have this line, let's just go toward the top part of our shape and let's just divide it by two pieces. So again, we are creating the similar straight line, holding our Apple Pencil, holding one of our fingers, making sure that we are at the center by going to our editing mode and by moving this line if we need to. When we are done, let's just tap on the screen and let's just go and try down hat on the top. When we have this line, let's just go to the bottom part and we will do the same thing here. So again, just going toward the center, holding our Apple Pencil, holding one of our fingers, go into our editing mode if we need to move this line, and again, finding the center with this line. When you are satisfied with the position, tap on the screen and let's just go and try down ear, and also this line we will use for the mouth. So if you want, you can just go and try down mouth too. When we have everything in that way, let's just go towards the bottom part and we will be just going a little bit beyond the frames of our shape and we will create another straight line right here. Let's again hold our Apple Pencil, hold one of our fingers, and we will go to our editing mode and we will just lift this line a little bit up, so we will have something going in that way. When you have the result like that, let's just tap on the screen and let's just go and try down here. Now, when we have everything set in that way, let's just go and create two more lines that we will use for the eyes. So firstly, we'll find our line where we have the center and we will go a little bit lower than this line and we will create another straight line right here. So let's again hold our Apple Pencil, hold one of our fingers, and when we have the result like that, we will go to the bottom, to this line where we have our ear and mouth, and we will go and create another straight line right here. So again, just creating a straight line. If you want, you can just move this line a little bit higher, and then we will just go to this space that we've created right here, to this one, and we will just write down eyes. Now, when we have this scheme, let's just go and do one more thing. Firstly, we will just go to our layers. We will go to all of these layers that we have right here and we'll merge them down. So we will just need to have everything on one layer. We'll go to the layer that we have on the top. We will tap on it. We will choose merge down right here and we will make everything a little bit more transparent. So we will see what we are creating on our new layer. Let's just tap on the N icon, go to the opacity slider, hold it and drag it toward the left until we still can see what's happening here, but when it's not that bright. When you are satisfied with the result, tap on the layer and let's just go and create one more layer on which we are going to be creating our first sketch. So for our sketch, when we have a new layer, let's just go and do one more thing. We will go to our range icon, we'll go under canvas and we will toggle drawing guide right here. Now we have these cells, but it's not the option that we are going to be using. So we will just need to go under edit drawing guide and on the bottom, we will just go and select symmetry. When we have this one line that is going from top to the bottom, that's exactly what we need. We don't touch anything here. We're just going and hitting down over our top right. And now we have this guiding line. And when we are going to be creating something on one side, it will be magically mirrored on the opposite side too. So when we have everything prepared, let's just go again to our brush library, again sketching folder, and let's just go and select either Procreate pencil or technical pencil brush. So select one of these brushes. If you prefer some other brush for your sketching part, you are welcome to select what you want. And when we have the result like that, let's just go to our color palettes and select some darkish color. So for example, let's just go with this dark blue color and let's just go and start creating our little sketch. So firstly, let's just go toward this bottom part and we will go and make a little mark down right here. We will position it right at the center of this shape. So just create a little mark down like that. And from this mark down, we will be just going toward the top until the line that we have right here as the top part of our eyes with a rounded shape like that. So very boldly, just go there and start creating your shape. Just with a couple of lines, create the shape that we are going to be using for our face. If you want, you can just go and play around with the size of your brush, with everything that you want to play around here to create a nicer shape. So just go there and start creating the shape. You can go rounder, you can go with a more like a very soft shape of the rectangle right here. So this is the shape that we are going to be using for our face. Let's just go and make sure that we are creating something very, very nice and very, very smooth here. If you have a couple of lines, you are welcome to go and grab your eraser and erase the lines that you don't need. All that we need to do here is to create cleaner look for our lines so we are not confused later on with everything that we are creating right here. Let's just go and maybe make this whole shape a little bit smaller so we will have more space on the sides. So just going a little bit inwards with our line, just repeating the shape. So just creating something going in that way. If you have some lines that you need to erase, let's just go and erase them again with our eraser, just refining our sketch to create something very smooth and very nice here and clean. And so we will see everything in a clean way when we're going to be creating other details. So now when we have the result like that, let's just go to this line where we have our ear and mouth, and we'll be just going underneath this line and we'll be creating our little mouth right here. So let's just go a little bit away from the central line and we'll be just going with a little line going in that way. So the line that we have on the top will be the top part of our mouth. You can just go and create a full shape right here, but also we can just go and create it in a subtle way. So we will have a thicker line right here on the sides and a thinner line right here on the middle part. So let's just go and create something going in that way. If you want to go with a different shape, you are welcome to go and experiment right here. It's up to you. When we have the result like that, let's move on and create little shapes for our ears. Let's just go toward this line that we have for our ears and we'll be just going toward the sides and just creating a little shape going up in that way. When we have the result like that, if you just have an urge to go and create some other lines and maybe refine your sketch a little bit, you are welcome to go and do what you need to do right here. So when you have the result like that, let's just go again toward the top and we'll be starting to create our eyes right here. So firstly, we are just going to this space where we have the empty part right here onto our face right now, where we have this space for the eyes that we've mentioned before. And let's just go and start doing this. We'll step from this line that we have right here at the center. We will go and firstly make a little mark down like that. So just go toward the center a little bit, not going toward the center of this little part. And where you have this little markdown, let's just go and just with one line, we will create a shape of the ellipse. Hold it at the end, try to position it straightly vertically. If you need to adjust it by going to the editing mode, you are welcome to go and do that. As you can see in our editing mode, we have some notes right here, so we can just go hold our Apple Pencil there and we can adjust our shape. So let's just go and continue adjusting our shape. So if you want to create a very vertical shape right here, you just need to position your notes right here, one under another. So just go and play around. If you want to maybe go with a more open look or with a less open look, you can just go to the sides and adjust the element just by going right here. If you want to go and maybe play around with the placement of this element, you are welcome to go and do that. If you accidentally went away from your adjusting mode with your editing mode, you are welcome to go and either manually adjust your shapes right now or go and select these elements and adjust them one by one. So for now, let's just keep everything as it is right now. So we are having this shape pretty at the center of our middle part right here of one of the parts of the face. When we have the result like that, let's just go over the top and let's just go and start creating the shape for our eyelashes. So firstly, we are just going to this line that we have right here on the top as the top part of our eyes, and we will be just going a little bit toward the side from this little iris that we've created, and we will be just going and starting to create a line going like that. So let's just go a little bit beyond this frame and we'll be just going over the top and creating a rounder shape right here. Let's just go toward the bottom and we'll be just going with our rounder shape almost to this line that we have right here as the bottom part of our eyes, but not quite to the bottom, so we will have a bit of space right here. Let's just go and work on the shape. If you need to rotate your canvas, if it's easier for you to work in that way, you are welcome to go and rotate it. For now, let's just go and create something going in that way. When we have the result like that, let's just go over the top and we will start to add some thickness to this line. So we are just going above and we are starting to create another line right here. Let's just go a little bit toward the top and we are again working with a rounder shape right here. If you want, you can just grab your eraser, just make it a little bit smaller and go and erase this top part of this shape that we've created before. So we will have again a cleaner look of what we are doing right here. When we have the result like that, let's just go toward these side elements and we will be starting to create little eyelashes right here. So firstly, let's just move a little bit closer toward the outer part. So we are again just working with our rounder shape like that. And then we will just go and start to create two little triangular shapes like that. You can just go with very triangular, very angular triangular shapes, or you can just go and soften them up and create like a very soft triangular shapes right here. Let's just go and create it in that way. You can go with a bigger shape or with a smaller shape. It's up to you. When you have the result like that, let's just go toward the bottom and let's just continue creating our shape with a rounder element like that. Let's just again refine the lines. Let's just make them nice. Let's just go and work onto the top part so we will have an even shape right here. When we have something going in that way, let's again take a look at everything from the distance and work a little bit more onto the shape. So for example, we can just go and maybe try to create these inner corner a little bit in a different way. So we will just make it a little bit thicker and adjust it with our eraser tool. We can just go a little bit lower with this shape to create a thicker look for our eyelashes. So just spend some time here and decide what kinds of the eyelashes you want to have right here. And if it's easier for you, you can just go and straight away just shade this element so you will see clearly what you are doing. And if you need to adjust some parts, again, you will see it with the shading element right here. So very easily, very quickly, let's just go and just manually shade this part. And then we will just zoom out our canvas and take a look at everything from the distance and decide whether we need to adjust some parts or not. So now when we've shaded, let's again take a look at everything, taking a look at our illustration from the distance, and let's just go and refine our shape just a little bit with the help of our eraser. So let's just go and create a more tippy part right here on the inner part, and then just go toward the outer part and create something more rounded. So let's just work with our shape, with our eraser, with our brush, If you want to go and maybe work onto the little eyelashes right here, make them bigger, make them smaller, just work on them. If you are not quite satisfied with everything right now, don't worry, we can fix some parts later on. So for example, right now we can just go and adjust this part right here with our little circles. So we can just go and maybe make them a little bit narrower. So you can just go and create another shape, go to the 18 mode, adjust it. If you want to go to your eraser and erase all the lines that you don't need, let's just go and do that. Again, we are trying to achieve the straight look for this element. And when we have something going in that way, let's just go and maybe work a little bit more onto the shape. You can just make these lines some kind of, it's hugging our shape right here inside. When you have the result that you like, let's just go to the middle part right here and we will create another shape of the ellipse. So just creating our shape with one line, holding it at the end, making it the size that you like, trying to make it vertical. If you need to go and adjust it through your 18 mode, go and adjust it, try to position it somewhere at the center. Again, trying to make it vertical. When we are done with this task, let's just go toward the top a little bit more close to our little inner part, and let's just go above this shape and we will create a rounder shape right here. So you can just go with a perfectly rounded circle, or if you want, you can just go and maybe create a different shape right here in the shape of the little ellipse. If you need to go to the 18 mode and adjust it, you are welcome to go and do that. Let's just go and create something in that way. When you are done, let's just go and continue creating other details. So firstly, let's just go toward the sides and let's just go and start creating the hair here. Let's just go toward this line that we have right here for our center, and from the center we will be just going and creating a straight little curve going in that way. So we are just going toward this line that we have right here for our little circle, and we are just going and creating this little curve going in that way. So just going toward the bottom part, and we are creating a curve in a peculiar way right here. We are having it in a way that we have more space on the bottom, so you can see that we are going a little bit inward with the curve on the top where we have the center element. So let's just go and continue refining our lines with our brush and with our eraser and just creating a little curve going down in that way. So again, you can just go with a very few lines right here and create them going in that way. And when you have the result like that, let's just go toward the side. So we will just be still inside this circle that we have right here, but we'll be just going with a differently curved element right here. So again, we are starting by going to our center line right here, and we are starting to create a line going in that way. When we have this line, let's just go down with a curve going in that way. So just creating a very rounded curve like that. Again, refining it, making it very, very soft right here at the side. If you need to go and adjust the curvature, you are welcome to grab your eraser and just work onto the element with your eraser. What we need to achieve is to have more weight on the bottom, so that means that we will just need to create a rounder shape right here on the bottom, and everything should look very, very smooth right here. So when we have something going in that way, let's just go and erase all the parts that we don't need. So we are just going with this line toward the line that we have right here for the bottom element of our hair. We can even go a little bit higher, so we will have more space right here on the side. Let's just go and make it a little bit more rounded, and when we have the result like that, let's just go and continue working onto this overall shape of the hair. So we will be just stepping a bit from this first curve, and we will just go and repeat the overall shape that we have right here outside, but we will be just going more toward the inside part. Let's just go with a rounder shape like that, so just work onto the overall shape right here. We also will need to go to this little part. You can rotate your canvas, and we can just go and very, very nicely connect these shapes with a very, very rounded shape. If you need to erase some parts to make everything smooth, you are welcome to go and do that. When we have something going in that way, let's just go toward this little part that we've just created. We will step a bit higher, and we'll be just going toward the top with a very, very smooth curve like that. So again, if you need to rotate your canvas, you are welcome to go and do that. You are welcome to create a couple of lines and then just find which line you want to use right here. So let's just go and create something going in that way. Let's just grab our eraser and let's erase all the lines that we don't need. So just go and create something going in that way. When we have the result like that, let's just get back to our brush and let's just go to this little curve that we have right here on the top. We will go inwards with a little shape like that, and again we are thinking about the gravity and we are thinking about more weight on the bottom. So we are adding a very rounded curve right here. When we have the result like that, let's just go toward this little element that we have closer to our center line, so the second little curl right here, and we are just again creating the connection with the similar curve that we have right here on the top. So again, if you need to go and create a couple of lines right here, you are welcome to go and do that. If you see that maybe you want to work onto the connection right here and erase some lines, let's just go and erase them and just work onto the overall shape with our brush and with our eraser. Take a look at everything right here, decide whether you like the result or if you want to adjust some parts. You are welcome to just fix everything that you want to fix right here. So for example, if you want to go maybe closer to the shape on the hat, you can go and do that. Erase everything that you don't need right here. Try out a couple of things right here if you want to. Just find what works for you, and when you are done, let's just again take a look at everything from the distance. When we have the result like that, let's just get back to our little brush and let's just continue working onto the top part for now. Let's go and start creating our hat. Let's just go to this line that we have right here for our hat. This will be our bottom part. So let's just go from the center and we will be going with a little curve. So if you want, we can just go and firstly create a little curve. It will go in that way. We'll be just going toward this line that we have right here as our outer part of our hair. So if it's easier for you, you can just go with this line like that. And we will be just going toward the bottom part of this little line and we'll be creating little bumps like that. So let's just go along this additional line that we've created and let's just go and start adding these little bumps right here. When we've reached our hair, we can just go a little bit outside, and if you want, we can just go and erase everything that we don't need right here. So our additional line that we've created, everything that you don't want to see here, maybe some little parts that you've created and you don't like. So let's just go and create something going in that way. When we have the result like that, let's just go toward this line, again, our hat, and from this line, we'll be just going and creating little ears. So let's just step a bit from this little line, we'll go a little bit inside the shape, and let's just go and create half of the circles or half of the ellipse like that. Again, let's just go and create them in a flatter way, so we are not creating them in a very rounded shape, just creating something going in that way. Erase the parts that you don't need. Again, if you need to create a couple of lines to figure out what you are doing right here, you are welcome to go and create a couple of lines and then erase them with your eraser. So when we have the shapes like that, that are a little bit going beyond the frames of our shape of the circle, when we have something going in that way, let's just go and continue creating our hat. So we just created the line going a little bit inside the shape of our little circle, the guiding line circle, and we'll be just going toward this little shape right here that we have on the bottom, and we'll be again going with our bumps. So let's just go and start creating them the same way as we have them on the bottom. So just go in there, creating these little bumps, going lower than this hat is ending right here on the bottom. So just create one more bump right here and finish up the overall shape of the hat. If you want to go and take a look at everything from the distance, just go and do that. When we have the result like that, if you have some elements that you need to erase, just go and erase them, and let's just go and work onto the top. So just going a little bit lower than this line that we have right here for our little part right here on the top, our little guiding shape, and we'll be just going there and adding these little bumps right here and creating the top part of our hat. When we have it, let's just take a look at everything, decide whether we are satisfied with it or if we want to maybe work more onto the bumps, create them in a bigger way or in a smaller way. Let's just go and do that. If you have some lines that you want to erase, just go and erase them. Let's also go inside the ears right here and let's create the inner parts. So the inner parts will go on the same line that our bumps are. So just go and create like an imaginary line right here and go toward the middle part of the ear, and let's just go and create another little bump right here and a little shape on the top that will be kind of looking like the overall shape of our ear. So when we have the result like that, let's just go toward the top and let's just add a bit of details right here. So firstly, we are going to the middle line that we have right here. We are stepping a bit from this line that we have right here on the bottom of our head. And let's just go and start creating a little nose right here. Let's just go firstly with a straight line like that. And then we'll just go to the bottom and let's create a little rounder shape like that. If you want, you can just go and turn this top line in a very smooth curve. If you want to go and work with your eraser, go and do that. When you have it, let's just go to the sides with our brush and let's just go and create a kitty mouth like that. So again, you are welcome to play around with the size of this element, with everything that you want to play around with. When you have the result like that, let's just go to the sides and let's create little eyes right here. So let's just go and create them in that way. Just create an ellipse like that. Take a look at everything from the distance, decide whether you maybe want to go a little bit lower with a bigger shape, with a smaller shape. Just try it out a couple of times and adjust it to your liking. If you want to work on some other details, maybe refine the lines that you have right here for your little mouth, you are welcome to go and do that. If you want to go and maybe shade this part, you are again welcome to go and do that. Again, take a look at everything from the distance, decide whether you are satisfied with the result or not. If you want to go and adjust something, grab your brush, grab your eraser, and adjust the shape to your liking. When you're overall satisfied, let's also go underneath the shapes of our eyes and let's just go and create two ellipses for the cheeks. So when we have the result like that, let's just take a look at everything and make sure that we don't have any details that we need to create with our little Symmetry Tool. We also will need to go to the bottom and we will just make a connection right here on the bottom. That will be our little scarf. So let's just go to the second element on our hair and we'll be just going a little bit lower than this overall shape of our hairline that we have on our guiding layer. So let's just go and create a rounder shape like that. And when you have the result like that, if you have some elements that you need to erase with your brush, let's just go and do that. When we have something going in that way, we can also go underneath the eyes and we can just go and create little cheeks right here, similar way to what we have onto our little bear on the top. So you can just go and map out where you're going to be putting these little elements. And when we have the result like that, let's just go and turn off our Symmetry Tool to create other elements. To do that, we will just need to go to our layers. We'll tap on the layer that is assisted right now and we will turn off Symmetry Drawing by selecting it from the list. When we have the result like that, let's just go and firstly work onto the bottom part. Let's just go and create a line that will go from the left to the right and we will create it in that way. So let's just go and create a rounder shape like that, a little bit asymmetrical, so we will have some kind of a scarf right here. When we have the result like that, we can just go and erase this part that we don't need. So we will just go there and erase it with our eraser. When we have the result like that, let's just get back to our brush and let's just go over one of the sides. So for example, to this side where we have a smaller shape for our scarf. And we'll be just going there and creating the continuation of the scarf just by creating a rounder shape like that. When we have the result like that, let's just go and continue working on the other elements. So let's just go and create a little fringe right here. Firstly, we will be just going toward our left and let's just go to this line where we have our center or a little bit lower where we have the top part of our eyes. And let's just go and start creating a little fringe going up in that way. So just creating half of the circle or half of the ellipse almost to the line that we have right here for our little bear hat. So you can just go and maybe work on it a little bit more. When you have the result like that, let's just go to the opposite side and let's just start creating little fringe right here. Again, just by going and creating half of the ellipses or half of the circles, just creating a couple of these elements going toward the opposite side. So very softly, just going there and creating it in that way. We are again working on some kinds of the little line right here. So we are not creating these elements strictly at one element, at one line. So we are just going with some peculiar shapes right right here that are kind of going in a receding way. So when you reached the opposite side, let's just go and create a bigger shape that will close this element right here. So let's just go and create something going in that way. Let's just refine the lines and let's just work onto the overall shape of them. Take a look at everything from the distance, decide whether you maybe want to work more onto these elements and refine the lines even more. So just spend some time here and adjust the shape to your liking. Pay more attention to the bottom part so you will have this receding effect with your little shapes right here. Again, if you want to work with your eraser, you are welcome to go and do that. You also can go and maybe refine some other lines or just create something different right here. It's all up to you. If you want to go and work more onto these shapes, you are welcome to go and do that. Firstly, let's just go and take a look at everything without the lines that we have as our guiding lines, and we can adjust everything without these lines. So firstly, let's just get back to our list and go to this layer where we have our guiding lines, and we will just go to this little check mark, we will tap on it, and we will take a look at everything without our lines right here. Let's just go and adjust our shapes very easily. So firstly, we are going to be adjusting our shapes that are symmetrical. So we are getting back to our list, we are getting back to this layer where we have our sketch, we will tap on it, and we will turn on our drawing assist right here. When we did it, let's just go to our adjustments. This is our magic wand tool over the left, and we'll go under Liquify Tool. On the bottom, we have a lot of options. We will just need to go under push option. We have the slider size that we can just go and adjust, and we can just go to some of the areas and we can just tweak them and adjust the overall look that we have right here for our illustration. So with this tool, let's just go and adjust our shapes. So we can just go maybe to the eyes, we can just go and adjust them, we can make them rounder, we can tweak everything that we want to tweak right here. So for now, just spend some time and take a look at all of these elements that are symmetrical and work on them. When you are done adjusting your shape, let's just tap on our adjustments. So it is our magic wand tool one more time. And if you are satisfied with everything right here, and if you don't want to adjust anything more, let's just go firstly toward our list and let's just turn off our assisted drawing from this layer. So tap in, selecting our drawing assist, and let's just go and maybe manually adjust some other elements that we want to adjust right here. So if you have some elements that you want to go and manually adjust, you are welcome to go and do that. So let's just again spend some time here and adjust our shapes to our liking. So if you don't want to do that, you are welcome to keep everything as it is right now. But mainly, let's just go and adjust the shapes with our brush and with our eraser so everything looks nice and clean. And when you are satisfied with everything here, let's move on to the next part where we are going to be creating the clean lines. So for our clean lines, firstly, let's just go to our layers and let's just go to this layer that we have for our sketch. So we will just tap on the N icon, we'll go to the opacity slider, we will go and reduce our opacity. So we still can see what's happening here. When it's not disturbing, we will just tap on the layer, we will close this window, we will tap on the plus icon, we will create a new layer. And let's again start creating our clean lines just by creating the symmetry elements. So let's just tap on this layer, let's select our drawing assist, and then we'll just go to our brush library, we will go to our inking folder, and we'll just go and select technical pen brush. If you want all of your lines to be very smooth, let's just do one more thing. We'll tap on this brush in our brush library, we'll go inside the brush studio, we'll go under stabilization, and we'll be playing with the amount of streamline and amount of stabilization. So you can adjust it the same way as you see right now onto your screen, or you can tweak them to your liking on your own. You can take a look at it, how it works, how it looks, how it feels onto our drawing pads, decide whether you want to adjust some parts or not. Remember that you can always get back to this option later on if you need to adjust something else. When you are done adjusting your brush, let's just tap done and let's just go find the size of the brush that we like, and we will be going and recreating the symmetry elements right here. So let's just go and start creating our shapes. And we will be just doing the same thing as we did with our sketch, but we will just need to go and create very smooth and very clean lines. So you are not supposed to recreate everything with 100% of similarity, you can tweak some elements. All that we need to do is to create closed lines here too. So that means that we don't have any gaps inside our lines that are outside. And also we can use the same option that we used before. We can just hold our line and the ends. We can go to our editing mode. We can tweak it from here by going to our little nodes that we have into our editing mode. And also we will just need to achieve a clean look with our connections. So if you have some little bumps or some little miscolored places, let's just go and adjust them too. So let's just go and continue creating this little line that we have right here. And also you can see that when we are working with our technical pen brush, if we reduce the pressure that we are putting onto our Apple Pencil, our line will look a little bit thinner, and that will add a bit more of interest to our illustration. So let's just make sure that all of our lines that we are creating on the top and where we have some kind of connections or some delicate elements, they will be pretty tippy at the top. So if you need to go to some of the lines and maybe adjust the thickness of these end points right here, you are welcome to go grab your eraser and work onto these elements with your eraser. Again, you are not supposed to recreate everything with 100% of similarity. So if you want to maybe try out some other things, some maybe other lines, other directions of the lines, you are welcome to go and do that. Connect your elements nicely. Just work with your brush, with your eraser, hold your line, use all the options that we used before. Try to create nice connections right here at the bottom and on all the places that you want to create nice connections on. Let's just work with our brush. Let's just work with our eraser. Also with our eraser, we can use all the options that we use with our brush. So you can just hold your line and the ends, and you can just go to the editing mode and adjust the part that you are trying to erase right here with this editing mode to create a nice line right here. For example, when you are done, just tap on the screen to accept the changes and continue adding your little lines right here. Make nice connections, make closed connections. Closed connections means that you don't have any gaps into your line. Let's just go and finish up creating our hair right here. Again, hold your line and the end. If you want to adjust it through your editing mode, try to create something very nice here. And it's also good to take a look at everything from the distance to see whether you like the result or not, to see clearly what you are doing right here, to adjust the curvature, for example. When you are satisfied with everything, tap on the screen, adjust these little continuations of the line, adjust the little tips right here, try to make them closed, and also work onto these elements on the top. Let's just go with our eraser and let's just make them very pointy, so we will have a nice look for the hair. But also try to make it gradually so you don't have a very abrupt line. Try to make it just very, very smooth and very, very soft. Now, when we have the hair done, let's just go and recreate the shape that we have right here for our face. So again, just with one line, let's just go and recreate it by holding at the end. Hold it, go to the editing mode if you need to adjust the curvature. Adjust it. When you are done, tap on the screen. Continue by going to the tip right here, for example, and adjust it. Go to the little ear that we have right here and recreate it here too, just with one line, the same way as before. Again, reminding you that for now we are working only with the elements that are symmetrical. So let's just go and continue creating the symmetrical parts right here. Let's just go and continue creating the eyes that we have right here. So let's just go to the bottom part with a bit of the smaller size of the brush, and let's just go and recreate this element right here. We can just go and create a full ellipse right here, or we can just go and create a half of the ellipse right here, and we will close it on the top with our shape that we have right here for our little eyelashes. So again, you can just try out to create the eyelashes again with one line. Go to the editing mode, adjust the curvature if you want to, try to play around if you want to, just find what works for you. When you are done, just go over the top and continue creating the shape right here too. So just repeat the overall shape that you have right here, close it, go to the editing mode, try it out to adjust it, try it out to create something very nice. If it's not happening, you are welcome to just go and manually recreate the lines. So maybe you will need to go and create 2 lines right here, so it will look very smooth and very nice and won't look weird when you are going to the editing mode. And we also can go and manually recreate these two elements that we have for actual eyelashes right here. So again, if you need to, you are welcome to go and adjust the size of your brush and create these delicate elements with a smaller size of the brush so they will look nicer. Just make sure that you are creating them with a closed shape right here. Let's just go and clean up the shape, close it. Let's just go and make sure that we don't have any gaps. And when you are satisfied with the shape, when you are sure that you don't have any gaps, let's just go to our little tool on the top right, and we will just drag and drop the color to this area. Now let's just zoom in our canvas and make sure that we don't have some miscolored places in the corners. We will probably have them, so we will just need to go manually and adjust what we need to adjust right here. Just fill the areas with color. If you see that you need to go and adjust some other places with your brush and with your eraser, just go and do that. Take a look at everything from the distance, decide whether you are satisfied with the shape. If you want to go and maybe add something, you are welcome to go and add something here. If you see that maybe you will just want to go and recreate this little line right here, so we will have the continuation, just go and do what you need to do right here. Try to mimic the line that you have right here at the side. When you are done with it, let's go again to our eyes. If you want, you also can go right here where you have the connection between the eyelashes and the overall shape that we have on the bottom, and go to this little line and just go and soften it up to create a nice outline like that, so we don't have any straight corners inside. When we have it, let's just go and recreate this shape that we have right here in the middle. So again, just with one line and with a bit of the bigger size of the brush, let's just go and recreate the shape. So again, just creating it with one line, holding it at the end, go into our editing mode if we want to adjust it, position it straightly vertically. So take a look at your illustration, just go and maybe find a different placement for it. If you want to, try to position it at the center of your shape right here. When you are satisfied with the placement, tap on the screen, accept the changes. Let's just go and recreate our mouth after that. So let's just go and work onto the mouth the same way as we did before. So just going toward the outside part, and we are reducing the pressure that we are just putting onto our Apple Pencil, and we will have a little gap right here in the middle. So you can just go and maybe work more with your eraser to create the nice and smooth curve. And let's just go to the sides and let's just add a bit more of the color right here at the sides. So we will have a thicker line right here at the very end of our mouth. Again, take a look at everything from the distance. If you see that you can adjust some things with your eraser, go and smooth up your lines. And when we have the result like that, let's just get back to our brush. Let's just go and make the size of it a little bit bigger. Let's just go toward the bottom, and we will be just going there and recreating the shape that we have right here. So just with one line, let's just go and create this element. If you need to go a little bit beyond the frames of your line that you are creating right now to the outside part, you are welcome to go and do that. You are welcome to go and work with the editing mode and maybe adjust it right here. Try to make nice connection between the shape. Try to make nice connection in the middle. If you want to play around with the placement of this element or with something with this element, you are welcome to go and find a different placement, a different rotation, anything that you want to play around with. If you need to refine some lines after you've moved this element, or if you just need to go to the center right here and adjust it, just go with your eraser and clean up the overall shape right here. When you are satisfied with this shape, let's just go over the top and let's just go and recreate the shape that we have right here for our hat. So just with our brush, just go in there and creating these little bumps right here. So you can just go and hold your line at the ends to create them in a nice way. You can go and maybe reduce the pressure that you are putting onto your Apple Pencil at the end of the line, so you will have a nicer shape right here. Let's just go all along these little parts and let's just go and create these little elements. You can go and overlap these parts a little bit so you will have some kind of a fluffy effect here. So it's up to you what you are going to be doing with this little part right here. Just go and finish up this line just by going toward the middle part and connecting everything nicely with your brush. If you have some elements that you need to go and erase, maybe you are welcome to go and do that. When you're satisfied with this part, let's just go outside and let's just go and work on these parts that we have outside. Again, If you want to go and maybe adjust some parts, maybe try out something different right here, you are welcome to go and do that. You are welcome to hold your line at the end, go to the 18 mode, adjust it to your liking. When you are done, go toward this little ear and adjust it. You can just create it with one line, hold it at the end, go to the 18 mode again, maybe make it a little bit flatter. When you have the shape that you like, let's just go toward the remaining elements and let's just go and recreate them too. If you want, you also can go toward this little part that we have right here on the middle part and maybe start from here, or you can just go and maybe create just two of these little elements and create something going in that way. Again, if you want, you can just lift this shape up a little bit, so we will have some kind of an effect that it is not just sitting on the head, but it has some perspective right here. When you have the result like that, make sure that everything is closed, that you don't need to go and adjust some parts. Go and recreate this little part that you have right here. Try to position it right at the center. So hold your line at the end if you want to, go over the top, recreate it, go to the 18 mode if you need to. Go and adjust it to your liking, make sure that it is closed. When we have the result like that, let's just go and recreate this little part that we have right here. Let's start from the eyes. Just go in there, creating our shape just with one line. If we need to go to our 18 mode and maybe adjust something here with our 18 mode, let's just go and do that. When we are done, just go away from the 18 mode and drag and drop the color inside these shapes. Let's just go and recreate this little nose. So just go and recreating the overall shape. If you want, you can just straight away drag and drop the color inside this shape, or you can just go and recreate only these elements that you have right here on the bottom, and maybe later on we will use a different color for the nose. So when we have everything recreated with our Symmetry tool, let's just go to our layers. Let's just tap on the assisted layer that we have right here. Let's just go turn off our assisted drawing, and let's just go and recreate everything that is not symmetrical. So let's just go and start with our scarf. So if you firstly want to go and erase this line that you have right here that we don't need over one of the sides, let's just go and erase it. Let's just grab our brush right here and let's just go and start recreating the shape that we have right here. You can just do it with one line, or you can just create a couple of lines and create a smoother shape right here. Take a look at everything. If you want to maybe thicken the parts right here, the connections near the shape that we have right here for our hair, you are welcome to go and do that. Let's go and recreate this detail that we have right here. So again, just with one line, make sure that the connection with the face is smooth and nice and doesn't look very weird. When you are satisfied with everything here, let's just go and recreate the last element that we have right here. It is our fringe. So let's just go and again with one line, just create the elements right here. Pay attention to where you are connecting your shape. If it's closer to this shape that you have right here for your little eyelashes, you are welcome to either lift it a little bit or just put it a little bit lower, so you don't have the result like that where you are creating some kind of an unnecessary tension right here with your elements. Just get back to this line and lift it up or move it a little bit down so you don't have the little touching part right here with these lines. So when you have this line, if you have some elements that you need to recreate with your brush to connect the elements, you are welcome to go and do that. If you want to straight away work onto the little shape that you have right here on the top, the part that should be quite picky right here, you are welcome to grab your eraser and work on it. And let's just then go and recreate these elements that we have on the opposite side. So again, if you want, you can hold your line at the end and go through all of these elements with your QuickShape tool. This is the option that we are using right now when we are holding our Apple Pencil at the end of the line. If you want to go to the 18 mode, you are welcome to go and do that. Let's just go and finish up the overall shape just by going and repeating the elements as they are onto our sketch, or just by adjusting them a little bit. Take a look at everything from the distance, decide whether you are satisfied with everything or if you need to go to some places and adjust them. If you have some parts that are going a little bit beyond the frames where you are not supposed to have them, you are welcome to go with your brush, with your eraser, adjust them. When we have the result like that, let's also go to one of the sides. So for example, to our left side where we have this space right here, and let's just go and create a little brow right here. Let's just go and create it just in that way. So just going up and creating a little shape going in that way. thicken it up a little bit on one side and just go either manually or just by dragging and dropping the color to the middle part. If you just need to go and adjust the overall shape, you are welcome to go with your eraser and adjust it to your liking. We also can get back to our Symmetry Tool and add one more element right here, and it will be our leads. So let's just get back to the layers. Let's tap on this layer with our lines. Let's just tap onto our drawing assist, and let's just go a little bit above this shape that we have for our eyelashes, and let's just repeat this shape just by creating a little eyelid like that. You can just go with a thicker line, with a thinner line, with a different shape right here. It's all up to you. Just create it in a nice and smooth way. You can try out it a couple of times to create something nice. You can hold your line at the end. You can go to the editing mode. You can go to your eraser. You can go to all the options that we used before. Just try it a couple of times and create something that you would like to see here. When you're satisfied with everything here, let's just go to our layers and let's just hide our layer with our sketch. So tapping on our little check mark, and when we have the result like that, let's just go and add one more detail. We will be just going to our scheme. So let's just go and unhide our layer. And let's just go and create this little shape that we had before. This is our shape of the circle. So let's just go and create one more layer on top of our layer where we have our lines. Let's just go and adjust the size of our brush a little bit, make it a little bit bigger. And let's just go and create the shape of the circle just like that. The very big one, just holding our Apple Pencil, holding one of our fingers, and just creating the shape like that. Let's just go and create it in that way, and then we will just go again to our arrow key. We will use our uniform method, snapping is on, and we will again go and find this line that is vertical, the orange one, and we'll position this line going in that way, just a little bit above the overall shape that we have right here on the sides as our little hat and everything, and a little bit bigger than the shape that we had onto our scheme. So when you have the result like that, let's just go away from this mode. Let's just go to our layers. Let's just hide our layer with the scheme because we don't need it anymore. Let's just grab our eraser and let's just go and erase all the overlapping parts that we don't need. So just go into all of these places where we don't want to have this line because we want to have it only on the top. And we will just go with our eraser and erase everything extra that we don't need. So just go in there, erasing everything, making sure that everything is remaining close. So we are just going to these little ears right here that are overlapped, just erasing everything here, doing the same on the opposite side. When you are satisfied with everything here, when you cleaned up the overall look right here, let's just go again to our layers and let's just merge these two layers together. So again, going to the top one, tapping on merge down, and now everything is on one layer. And when we have the result like that, we are ready to move on to the next part where we are going to be creating our basic colors. So for the basic colors, firstly, let's just tap on this layer with our lines. We don't need our drawing assist anymore, so let's just turn it off. And then let's just one more time tap on the layer, and this time we will select reference. We will be using these lines and we will be adding the colors on separate layers. So let's just go to our previous layer, and from here we will create one more layer on top. Let's just go to our color palettes and let's just start with the color of the skin. Let's just drag it to all of the elements where we are supposed to have skin. So it is our head and our little ears right here. When you have the result that you like, let's just go to our layers one more time. Let's create one more layer on top. Let's just go to the next color that we are going to be using right here, and it will be our color with the name Bright Cyan. With this bright cyan color, let's just go toward our eyes and let's just go and recolor them, and also these little parts inside the eyes too. When we have the result like that, let's just get back to our layers. Let's create one more layer on top. Let's just go back to our color palettes. Let's select whitish color, and with this color we'll be just going toward our hair, and let's just go and recolor these two parts right here, the behind part of our hair here too. So now when we have the result like that, let's just get back to our layers. Let's create one more layer on top. Let's just go to our color palettes, and again we will use the same whitish color and we will recolor our head right here. Let's just go and recolor everything that we have for our head, so the inner parts of the ears and also the nose right here. So everything is recolored in that way, and when you have the result like that, going again to our layers, creating one more layer on top, go into our color palettes and let's just go and select the color with the name Aqua Blue. Let's just drag it toward our scarf. Let's recolor everything right here with this color. When we have the result like that, let's also go toward the very bottom. We'll go to our layer where we have our sketch, and let's create one more layer from here. With the same color that we are using right now, let's just go to this back part and let's just go and recreate everything that we have right here. So now we are done with our base colors. Let's just go for the details. So firstly, let's just get back to our layers. Let's just go to our layer where we have our reference. We don't need it anymore, so let's just tap on it and let's select reference from the list. And then let's just go toward our skin part and let's just go and start adding some little shadows right here. If you remember, we also had some little lines that we just need to recreate right here onto our overall shape right here. It is our lines for the cheeks. So let's just go find our layer with our sketch. We will hold it and we will just drag it to the top where we have our layer with our lines. So even above our layer with the lines. From here, we can just go and turn on our layer, and then we will just go to this layer with our skin and create one more layer right here. Let's tap on this layer and let's select our drawing assist, and then we will just go to our color palette and let's just go for this color with the title cheeks. Let's just go and adjust the size of our brush and let's just go and recreate these shapes right here. So just go there, hold your line at the end, create the shape, go to the 18 mode, adjust the size of this element, just go and create something going in that way. When you're done, just tap on the screen and just go and add the color to these areas. Also, we can just go to the color palette and we can just use this red color and we can add some additional elements right here to the middle part. But firstly, let's just go to our layers and hide our layer with our sketch firstly, and also let's just turn off assisted drawing from this layer with our cheeks. Tap in, selecting drawing assist, go into our cheeks, and if you want, we can just go and add a couple of lines like that on both sides. When we have the result like that, let's just get back to our layers. Let's create one more layer on top and let's just start adding some shadows. So firstly, let's just get back to this layer that we have right here for our cheeks. Let's just tap on this layer and let's select clipping mask, and we will do the same with this new layer that we have on the top. Tap on the layer, select clipping mask, and that way we will be able to add the additional colors only on the areas that we have on our main layer, which is our layer with our overall shape for the face. So when we have the result like that, let's also go to this N icon on this new layer and let's just find multiply blending mode. We are going to be adding the shadows and it will help us with it. Let's just go to the opacity slider and let's just set it to something around 45–50%. If it's too much, we can fix it later on. So now let's just get back to our color palettes and let's just go and select this red color, and we will be just going to our size slider for our brush and let's just go to our ears and let's just go and put them completely in the shadow. If you want, you also can go to the brush library and switch your brush to Studio Pan. It will be easier for you to just work with your lines right here. So let's just go and put the ears in the shadow, and then we will just go to the top where we have our hair and we'll be just going there and recreating the shape, but we'll be just going a little bit lower than the shape is. So let's just go and start creating our lines closer to this shape that we have for our fringe. So just repeating the shape. If you want, you can just hold your line at the end, do the same just by going toward all these elements that you have on the top. So just go there and create this little part. Also, we can just go to the tips right here where we have our cheeks and we can soften up the overall shape for the shadow just by going and creating a very soft shadow going down in that way. We can do it on both sides, so let's just go and create this little connection right here on the opposite side too. So just work onto the smoothness on this line. When we have the result like that, let's just make sure that we are satisfied with the amount of opacity for this element. If you want to adjust it, we can do it very easily just by going to this layer where we have our shadows, tap on the M icon and just go and find the level of opacity that works for us. For example, maybe 60% looks better. If you are satisfied with everything here, let's move on to our next layer, which is our layer with the eyes. Let's just go create one more layer on top, doing the same thing as before, tapping on the layer, selecting our clipping mask, and as we want to work on the both eyes at the same time, let's just go and turn on our drawing assist. When we did it, let's just go to our color palettes and we will be working with this colors that we have right here firstly. So let's just go toward the bottom part, and we will be starting by creating a little shape on the bottom with our cyan blue color. Let's just go more toward the bottom, so to the half that we have right here on the bottom, and we will just starting by creating a shape going in that way. Adjust it to your liking, go manually to the bottom and recolor the rest of the area like that. When you have the result like that, let's go back to our color palette and select light grayish cyan color. And with this color, we will be just going more toward the bottom, and we will add another layer of color with this color. So you can just go and repeat the overall shape that you have on the top, and then just manually recolor the rest of the area. When we have the result like that, let's go and work onto the top part. So we'll be going with a darker color here. So for example, we can just go with cyan blue. You can add one layer on the top with this color. You can go with just blue color right here and add the dark blue. So you are welcome to experiment a little bit with the colors. You can just go and create something on your own, or just repeat what I'm doing right now with these colors of my choice. So let's just go and create this little line over the top like that. You are also can go and maybe adjust the overall shape of this line that you are creating. So again, create some kind of a hugging effect right here on the top. When you have this curve, just make sure that you are connecting it nicely right here. Tap on the screen, accept the changes. If you want to maybe go and work on the overall shape of the line, you are welcome to go and do that. When you have this line, let's just go again to our color palettes, and let's just go with a darker color. So for example, let's just go with the second blue color that is also a bit darker, and let's just go over the top and put this color right here and put this element completely in some kind of a shadow actually. So let's just go and continue creating these elements. Try to make nice connection right here. You are welcome to just go and manually adjust it to your liking. If you want, you also can maybe work onto some peculiar shapes right here. So you can just go and maybe create a line going down in that way. If you want to go with some other pattern, you are welcome to go and do that too. So just spend some time here and create the shapes to your liking. Just create the nice shapes right here. Work onto the pattern. Just create something that you would like to see here. You also can use all the options that we used before. You are welcome to just go to the editing mode and adjust it. If you already have the color and maybe you want to adjust it, you can just pick it from the screen. You just need to go with one of your fingers, hold your finger onto the place, and invoke this eyedropper tool. So you can see that when we have this tool, if we are moving it, the color on the top is changing. So you can just go to this color that you need, and when you have it onto the tool on the top, you are welcome to just lift up your finger and just go and adjust your shape with this color because you've changed it. So adjust your shape to your liking. Just work onto the overall shape. Find what works for you. If you need to select another color, you know how to do that. Just go and create something going in that way, for example. Maybe work onto the different pattern. So when you are satisfied with this task, when you are satisfied with your eyes right here, let's just go and add a couple of highlights. Let's just go toward our color palette, and let's just go and select this whitish color. And with the whitish color, we will be just going toward this top part where we had the element on the top. So if you want to go and find your layer with your sketch and find this additional element right here, you're welcome to go and do that. When you have it, let's just go to this layer where we are adding our additional elements, and let's just go and start adding our highlights. So let's just go and recreate this little part. So you can just go a little bit above the shape that you have on the middle part, or you can just go and maybe lift this shape up. You are welcome to go with a full circle, or if you want, you can just go and maybe squish it a little bit and create a different shape for this element. It's up to you. You can just move this shape. Again, it's up to you. When you have the result that you like, the position that you like, let's just go and add the color inside. So just dragging and dropping the color to this area. When we have it in that way, let's just go and turn off our layer with our sketch, and let's continue by going and adding a couple of more little highlights. So let's just go closer to the sides that we have right here, and let's just go and create a couple of highlights going in that way. So you can just go to the sides and create some peculiar shapes like that, or something in a different way. If you want to turn off the drawing assist, you are welcome to go and do that. When we have enough of the highlights, you are welcome to just go to your layers and turn off assisted drawing from this layer. So let's just tap on it. Let's select drawing assist. If you want to maybe adjust some of the highlights, you are welcome to go and do that. Don't try to use your eraser right here because we are working on the same layer. So if you just need to go and adjust something, just go manually and adjust something so it's not very similar on both sides if you want to achieve it. Also, we can just go and, for example, select this color, the second one, and go above this shape right here and add a bit of interest to this part just by going and creating a couple of elements like that. So you can just spend some time here, add a couple of additional elements with the second color right here. Just go and create some little dots, something like that. You also can go and maybe select a different color right here, so a darker one or a lighter one, and go to some other areas and add a bit of the interest to these little parts. So just by creating couple of these elements right here. So just spend some time here, adjust your elements, maybe go to the second layer right here or to something like that. When you're satisfied with this task, let's just go and continue adding additional elements. So firstly, we will just go to our layers, we will go to our layer with our hair, and let's just go and create one more layer on top. Let's tap on the layer, let's select our clipping mask, let's tap on the layer, let's select our drawing assist, let's go to our color palettes and select this light grayish blue color. First, let's just go and add the color to the bottom part. So let's just go to the second little strand right here, and we will be just going toward the bottom, and we'll be just creating the similar shapes to what we have right here, and we'll be just creating the shape going in that way. So just rotate your canvas to create a nice element right here, and let's just go and continue adding a little shadow right here to this little part onto the side. So you can just go and just try to create the peculiar shapes right here, work with your brush, work with your eraser, just create a nice elements that will look like shadows. You also can go right here to the bottom part and create a line going in that way. When you have the result like that, let's just go toward this little part right here, and we'll be just going toward the top. So just try to create an imaginary line going from right here and just go higher and create a line going up in that way. If you need to try it out a couple of times, you are welcome to go and do that. Just try to make that nice line that will go in that way. We also will go underneath our little parts that we have right here for our little shapes of our hat, and we'll be just going there and repeating them. So just go very boldly and just go and create these shadows right here. When we have the result like that, let's just go and turn off our assisted drawing, or if you want to start and add the color with assisted drawing right here to the bottom part, we will just need to get back to our color palette and select this pastel purple color, and we'll be just going there and adding this color to these two areas. Now, when we recolor these two parts, let's just get back to our previous color, and we can do it very easily just by going to this icon with the color and hold it until we have the previous color right here. If it's not happening, try it out one more time. You will get back to the color eventually. When we have the result like that, let's just get back to our layers. Let's just go to this layer and turn off our assisted drawing. So selecting it from the list. And we will be going toward the bottom parts of the hair right here. And we'll be just, again, repeating the overall shape, or if you want to maybe create some peculiar shapes right here, let's just go and create these little parts. So just going there to the bottom parts, repeating the overall shape and just creating our shadows in that way. You can go with the thicker lines, you can go with the thinner lines, it's all up to you. You can go a little bit above the overall shape that you have right here. So just go there and create the shadows with your brush. Work with your eraser too to create nice outlines right here. Adjust the size of this brush that you are using for your eraser and just create nice shapes for these little shadows that you are creating. If you already did something, grab your eraser and clean up the overall shape. When you have the result that you like, let's just go and work on some other areas. So again, let's just go toward our layers. Let's just go to our hat. We will go and create one more layer on top. Tap on the layer, select your clipping mask, and let's firstly go and add these red elements that we have onto this part. Let's just go and select the cheeks color. Let's just go and manually recolor these little parts that we have right here inside our ears, and we will do it on both sides. So just manually go in there and adding our color. Then we also will need to go and turn on our layer that we used for our sketch. So just go back to the layers, find the layer. If you want to create the elements just with one line, you just need to go tap on the layer and select your drawing assist and recreate these elements that we had right here onto our sketch. So just hold your line, adjust the overall shape, the curvature, the size, the everything with your editing tool. Find the placement for these elements, find the direction that you would like to see right here, and then just add the color inside. If you need to go and manually maybe adjust the overall shape right here on the top or on the place where you were connecting your shape, just go and do that. Let's just go and turn off our layer with the sketch. Take a look at everything right here. And let's also get back to our color palettes and use the pastel purple color to recolor our little nose right here. When we have the result like that, we also will go back to our color palettes and we will be starting to select our light grayish blue color, and we will get back to our layers and create one more layer on top. Let's tap on the layer, let's select our drawing assist, let's select our clipping mask, and let's just go and start adding the shadow to the bottom part of our hat. So again, just adjusting the size of our brush, and again, very boldly just go in there and repeating the overall shape that we have right here. So just go in there and creating our line going in that way. Close it, go toward the side where you started it, loop the shape around so you have the closed shape, and just drag and drop the color inside in that way. If you need to go and precisely work on some of the areas, you are welcome to go with your brush, with your eraser, clean the shape, add the color inside, work onto the connections, just create that nice shape right here for this little shadow part. We also can grab our eraser and we can just go toward the sides right here and just cut little parts right here. So we will have some kind of the reflected light onto our shape, and we will have a nice outline right here onto the sides. Also with the same color, we will just go above the nose right here, and let's just go and create a little shadow right here. So we'll be just going with a little curve like that. Just try to make a nice connection on the top, and let's just go and just recolor the rest of the area and work on it if we need to, just with our eraser. So we will have some kind of the protruding nose right here. If you need to go and maybe adjust it a little bit more, you are welcome to go and do that. Overall, we will need to have something like that. Now, when we have the result like that, let's again get back to our layers. Let's go to our layer where we have our scarf. Let's create one more layer on top. Tap on the layer, select our clipping mask, tap on the N icon, select multiply blending mode, something about 50% of opacity, and let's just go and select some darkish color. So for example, cyan blue color, and let's just go and add a little shadow right here onto our scarf. Let's go firstly over the right part. We will go and create the shadow just randomly like that, and we will be going and creating something going in that way. Go into the opposite side, loom the shape around, and drag and drop the color inside. Work onto the connection right here, just soften it up a little bit. Something going in that way will look perfectly. Try to create a nice connection right here onto this side too. If you want, you can just go with your eraser and maybe create a smaller shape right here on the bottom. Just go through the whole shape, but go a little bit lower and create the shadow going in that way. Erase the parts that you don't need, and then with the same color, let's just go toward this opposite side and just go and put this little part completely in the shadow. Now make sure that you like the amount of opacity here. If you want to go and maybe adjust it, go and do that. When you have the result like that, let's just go and start adding a few more additional elements, and we will be starting just by going and recoloring the elements that we have right here. So firstly, let's just get back to our layers, and let's just go to our layer where we have our lines. We will create one more layer above it. We will tap on the layer and we will choose our clipping mask. Now let's just start by going and recoloring the lines that we have right here for our mouth, and we'll be just going to our color palettes and we will select this pink red color. With the pink red color, let's just go over this little part where we have our mouth, also to this little part that we have right here on the top, or if you prefer to use a different color for these little parts, for example the red color, you are welcome to use it right here. Let's just go and recreate these elements, and we will be just recoloring everything that we have here onto our layers and making a very soft kind of look for everything that we have right here. So now when we have the result like that, let's also go and work on the eyes. So you can just work on the same layer, or if you want to work on the different layer with your eyes, you are welcome to go and do that. We can just go and create one more layer above. The same way, just clip it, and also we can just go and turn on our drone assist. And what we need to do right here is to just pick the color that we have right here, and we'll be just going and creating some kind of a lineless illustration right here with our eyes. So very easily, very softly, and very accurately, we'll just need to go and recreate the overall shape that we have right here for the eye, and we'll be just picking the colors, and we'll be just creating the pattern with our little lines that we are recoloring right now. So the same way as we have it onto our main shape for the eye. Let's just go to the opposite side and do the same thing here, just recoloring everything with our brush, so manually. Just go and creating a nice connection on the top, trying to remain the curve that we have right here. Then we are going to the next color right here and just recoloring this little part that we have right here on the sides. Doing it on both sides evenly, just trying to match the overall shape that we have right here in the middle. If you overdid it, just get back to the previous color and just work onto the overall look right here. Continue by going and selecting the next color right here and recoloring the rest of the lines the same way as before. Doing it on both sides, trying to create a nice connection on the side right here. So if you just need to go a little bit softer or a little bit differently right here, you are welcome to go and do that. When you are satisfied with it, just select the last color that we have right here on the bottom and recolor the rest of the area very nicely. When you are satisfied with the result, we also will go toward this top part right here. We will select our white color and we will just recolor this little line that is overlapped. Also, if you see that you have some miscolored place right here onto this area where you have the white elements, you can just get back to the layer where you have created it. So we will just go to this layer where we have our eyes right here. We'll select our whitish color and just manually recolor the area that we need to recolor on both sides. So when you fixed everything right here, let's also go toward the same layer that we used before, the layer where we have recolored our little lines, and we'll just need to get back to this whitish color and we will just need to recreate this little shape that we have right here for our highlights. Just work onto it nicely. If you already did it, just select the color that you need to have right here and just adjust it. Do the same on the opposite sides too. When we are done with this task, if you like how your eyes look right now, you can keep everything as it is right now, but also we can just go and add one more detail in the shape of the white color right here onto the bottom. So let's just get back to our layers. Let's just go underneath our layer with our main layer for our eyes, and let's just go and create one more layer right here. Let's tap on it. Let's select our drone assist, the same whitish color, and we'll be just going toward the bottom with a smaller size of the brush, and we will just go and create this little white shape right here on the bottom of the eye. Adjust the shape through your editing modes, make it rounded, make it different if you want to from rounded, and just close the shape on the top and then just drag and drop the color inside. When we have the result like that, let's continue by going again to our layers on the top, and we'll be just going and recoloring some other areas. So again, if you want, you can just go and create one more layer on top, tap on it, select your drone assist, and go and start recoloring other details. Make sure that you clip the layer too, so you'll be able to recolor only the lines here. So let's just go to this layer, and we will be going with this blue color that we have right here, and we will be just going to the outside parts of the hair, and we will be just recoloring them. So very nicely and very smoothly and very accurately, we are just going and recoloring these outside lines that we have right here. So just go manually and recolor these parts like that. And when you've reached the little part that you have right here on the bottom where you have this scarf, let's just go and do the following. So firstly, we are just going toward this little line that we have right here. You can also go and recolor recolor the whole area that you have right here in a shadow with this color. So very accurately just recolor the line, and then we will just select the same color that we used right here for our shadow. So just pick it from your canvas, and let's just go to all of these areas that we have right here on the top, and let's just go and recolor them with this color. Make nice connection with the overall shape that you have right here on the bottom, and very easily just go over the top and recolor everything for the lines that you have inside the shape. Again, very accurately, if you see that you went a little bit beyond the frames, just go and erase everything that you don't need with your eraser. When you are done with this task, let's also go toward this little part that we have right here onto the top, and let's just pick the same color that we used right here on the outside part, and let's just go and recolor this little line here too with the same color. So now when we have the result like that, let's select the white color that we have right here, and with the white color we will be just going outside right here and recoloring this little line that we have right here for our hat. So just go in there manually, the same way as with other elements, just recoloring the outside parts. Trying to just go and recolor everything, going beyond the frames right here, just recoloring everything with white color. So for now, you can just go and recolor the ear with white color too, but later on we will add a bit of a different color right here, so don't worry if it now doesn't look very nice and very just appropriate. When we have the result like that, let's just go to our other elements and we will recolor them too. So first, let's just go to this little nose that we have right here. We will pick the color from it and we will recolor the whole area with this color. And then let's just go and probably turn off our assisted drawing so we will be able to add the color right here onto our fringe and maybe on some other elements. Let's just get back to our layers. Let's just tap on this layer. Let's turn off our drawing assist and let's just get back to the same color that we have right here for our shadow. And very accurately, let's just go and recolor the bottom part of our fringe with this color. So just the same way as before, recoloring our lines, just going very accurately, trying to not recolor other elements as we have them right here. So just very accurately, just going and recoloring everything that we have right here. When we have the result like that, let's go and make sure that everything is nicely recolored. If you have some miscolored places, for example, on the bottom part, or if you have some additional elements that you need to work on, just get back to this layer where you have the shadows for the hair and just work onto these elements. So if you just need to go and recolor some parts, some miscolored parts, you are welcome to just select the color from your canvas as you already have it here. If you need to go and maybe adjust some parts to make the lines nicer, you are welcome to just work with your eraser and create nice shadows for these little parts. So just go there with your eraser and adjust the overall look that you have right here for your shadows. When you are satisfied with everything here, let's again get back to our layer where we are recoloring our little parts. Let's just get back to our color palette, select the same red color, for example, and recolor these little shapes that we have right here as the inner parts of the ears. Let's just do it on both sides with a bigger size of the brush. And then let's just go and select the color with the title blue. And with this color, we'll just go and recolor this little brow that we have right here. So very accurately make a nice connection right here, recolor this part. Let's take a look at everything from the distance and let's just see whether we want to recolor some other elements. So for example, if you want, we can go with the darker color, the blue color, for example, and recolor this little line right here, the inner part right here, or the top part only. You are welcome to experiment and maybe select a different color for this element and recolor it with this color. So when we have the result like that, we are mostly done with our illustration, but we can just go and add a few more additional elements. So let's just go to some beautifications and add a couple of more elements to finish up the overall illustration that we have right here. Let's start by going to our ears and let's just add a different color to the top so we will have not a weird look right here. So let's just go with this aqua blue color and we will just go toward the top and we will just go and recolor these top parts with this color. So you can just go creatively and maybe create some little dots like that or something going in that way, or just make a nice connection over the overall shape that you have right here. Do it on both sides, just go to the outside parts right here and create something going in that way. When we have the result like that, let's go and create one more layer on top. So let's just go to our layers, create one more layer. We are not clipping it, we are not doing anything with it. We are just going and adding a different elements right here. So firstly, let's just go and select this color that we have right here for our line, the redder one, and we will just go above our little mouth right here to the middle part, and we will just put a little dot right here that will be a little nose. So adjust the size of your brush and just put a little dot like that, a little bit higher, a little bit lower. Find where you want to put it and just put it. And then let's just go and start adding a couple of elements right here on some places and just create a nicer element, a nicer look for the overall shape that we have right here for our illustration. So let's just start selecting some of the colors. So let's just go maybe with the color that we have right here for our shadow, and let's just go to some of the areas and we will be just starting to put some little dots, some kind of snowflakes all over the place. Just go with different sizes, just go and add a couple of elements with this color. When you are done with this color, you are welcome to go and maybe select some darkish color. So for example, this color that you have on the background, let's just go and add a couple of details with this color too. Again, try not to overdo it. You also can go outside the shape and try to add a couple of elements right here too. Just create them randomly in all the places that you have right here, and when you are done with this color, you are welcome to select another color. So for example, let's just go with this whitish color. With the whitish color, we also can go toward the back part right here. We also can go to these little lines that we have right here and just create some peculiar effect with it. We can go to our little scarf and add a bit of interest right here with this little differently sized elements right here. We can go outside and add a couple of these little dots going outside of a bigger size or with a smaller size. Just go and add a couple of details with this color too. When we have the result like that, we also can go and maybe try out the darkish color right here on the outside part. So for example, we can go with this purple color. And when we have the result like that, we can go a little bit extra and, for example, adjust the color of our eyes just a little bit, just by adding a bit of the interest to them too. So firstly, let's just go to our layers and let's just go to this layer where we have created the different shape right here for our color of the eyes. So this layer where we've recolored everything, let's just go and create one more layer above it. And let's just go to our color palettes and let's select this magenta pink color. With the magenta pink color and onto this new layer that we will also turn our assisted drawing on, we will go to our brush library and we will go to the airbrushing folder. Let's select soft blend brush and let's go and set the opacity to something around 20%. And now very accurately, we'll be just going toward the tips that we have right here on the inside part firstly, and we'll be just going and recoloring these little parts. We are creating some kind of a very nice gradient right here, and if you are recoloring the previous layer, let's just go back to our layers, hold this layer and drag it underneath the layer where we recolored everything onto the lines right here. So let's just go and start creating a gradient going in that way, and also we'll go to the opposite side and we will add a bit of color right here too. If you already did it, you are welcome to go and select the smudge brush and just go closer to this little colored part right here and just recolor this little part. So now we've added this magical effect right here, and also if you want to go even extra, we can just go and create a little snowflake, for example, or a couple of snowflakes. So let's firstly get back to our brush library and we will go to the calligraphy folder. We will select our monoline brush and let's just go above all the layers that we have right here, maybe not above the layer with our sketch, to have everything just in one place. Let's just go and create one more layer, and let's just go with the smaller size of the brush and maybe with a different color. So for example, let's just go with this blue color right here and let's just go and start creating our little snowflake. Let's just go and start creating the line that will go straightly vertically. If you want, you can go straightly with a smaller size of the brush. So let's just hold our line at the end. Let's just hold one of our fingers on the screen. When we have the result like that, let's just go over the top and let's just go and start creating these peculiar lines on the top. So hold your line at the end, go to the 18 mode to make it just on two sides similar. You are welcome to go with a bigger size of this element, with a smaller size. You are welcome to experiment and create some other pattern for your little snowflake. So I will show you how to create it just in a way that it will look like a snowflake. Just create this element in that way. So when you have the result like that, let's just go to our layers and let's just make a copy of this layer. So swipe the layer from right to left and choose duplicate. When you have the copy on the top, let's just go to our arrow key and let's just use the option flip vertical. If you want, when you are at the uniform method and with the snapping on, you can just move the shape a little bit down. So just follow these three lines. You will know that you are at the same line. You are not moving toward the sides. When you have the result like that, let's just go to our arrow key. Let's go away from this mode. Let's just go to our layers and let's just merge these two layers together. So go into the top one, select and merge down, go in and creating one more copy of this element. So duplicate. When you have the copy on the top, let's just go to our arrow key. Let's just go again to our uniform method and we will just go to this green node over the top and we will just tap on it. Let's just go and write down 60. When we have it, we will just tap on our arrow key and then we will just go to our layers and again we will make a copy of this layer that we have on the bottom. Duplicate, go into our arrow key, go into this green node, writing down 60 one more time, but this time we will just go and tap this plus minus icon. When you did it, you will have a full snowflake like that. So let's just go to our list and merge all of these layers together if you don't want to adjust them in any way. So let's just go and put one of our fingers on the top layer, another on the bottom, and just make a pinch movement like that. If you want to go and maybe beautify your little snowflake even more, you are welcome to go and maybe manually add some details right here or adjust it in any way. Just create something very nice right here. If you don't want to add the additional elements, just keep everything as it is right now or before. When you are satisfied with everything here, let's just go to our list. Let's just make a copy of this snowflake. So just again swiping from right to left, choosing duplicate. Let's just store this one at the bottom so we will have more copies later on. Let's just go and work with this one. We will just go and use our arrow key and we'll be just going to some of the places. We will be adjusting the size, adjusting the rotation just by going to the green node, and we will just find the placement for this element, maybe outside the shape. If you want to go and make another copy, go to this first element, make a duplicate, go to the arrow key, and you just go and find another placement for this little element right here. So for example, let's just go to our scarf and we can definitely say that this color is not right for this little part right here. So let's just go and do the following. We will go to our list, we'll create one more layer above this little snowflake that we've put right here onto our little scarf. We'll tap on the layer and we will choose our clipping mask. We then go to our color palette and let's select whitish color and we'll just drag it to the whole layer that we have right here. When you did it, let's just go to our list and let's merge these two layers together. So go into the top one, tap in, select and merge down. And now if you want to go and make a copy of this whitish little snowflake, you are welcome to go and select it. You are welcome to go make duplicates, position them onto your scarf or on some other areas and just go and create it in that way. If you want to make one more copy, you are welcome to go and do that. If you want to experiment and maybe create differently shaped snowflakes, you are welcome to go and try it out a couple of times. You are welcome to just find different elements, maybe different patterns for this snowflake. When you are satisfied with this little place, you are welcome to go and maybe make one more copy of this element and just fill the area with the snowflakes and position some of them maybe on the hat or outside the shape. Just find the placement for these little parts and just create a nicely shaped illustration, nicely positioned everything right here. So for now, let's just go back to this little element right here. Let's maybe position it onto our canvas to make it smaller, make it bigger. It's up to you. If you want to go and make one more of these little shapes, go and position these little elements somewhere outside the shape too. If you want to recolor it, you know how to do that. So let's just make one more copy of a smaller one and position it right here too to make everything balanced, maybe a little bit smaller one. So just create something going in that way. So when you have the result like that, the very last thing will be to go and turn off our symmetry line. So let's just go to our wrench icon. We will just go to our canvas and we will just go and toggle drawing guide right here. And when you have the result like that, if you don't want to add more details, we are done with our illustration. I hope you are proud of your result. Share it on socials and tag me so I can see your beautiful creations. And if you enjoyed this video, you can find more similar kawaii tutorials on my Skillshare or on Patreon at the link in the description. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next tutorial.